Hi everyone, I'm Shaylin with Reedsy, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to write a strong hook. In the last video we talked about writing a synopsis, and a few weeks ago we talked about writing a query letter. Today we're going to be zooming in on one of the smallest but most crucial aspects of a pitch, and that's the hook. You don't have much time to make your query letter stand out from the thousands of query letters this agent has read before, so a hook is a way that you can try to capture your agent's attention right at the beginning of your query letter. A query letter is short, so it's not the time to hold back. Play your most interesting card right away, and you can use that most interesting card to create the hook. Once you've captured the agent's attention with your hook, then you can get into the rest of the query letter and flesh out all the details. Now there are lots of different places that a hook can come from within the story, but here are a couple options. First of all would be the concept. If your book is really high concept, this in itself can make a great hook. Think about movies that would have an amazing elevator pitch, like Jurassic Park. I hear theme park full of dinosaurs, and I'm pretty much sold on that. Second of all would be the character. This works great if you're writing a more character-driven story, maybe something contemporary that's not very high concept. If your character has a really unique or different view of the world, that can make a great hook. Show why this is a perspective we've never seen before. The hook could also be the form. If you have a book with a really interesting narrative form, for example, The Book Thief by Marcus Essex, one of my favorite books, but what's so interesting about it is that it's told from the point of view of death. This is such an original and interesting narrative choice that in itself makes a great hook without even knowing much about the plot. There are so many World War II era novels out there, but hearing that this one is from the point of view of death immediately makes it stand out. A hook could also be an interesting plot event. Let's say your book starts with a really strange or shocking plot point. This could make a great hook. So for example, the book I'm writing right now begins with a character being struck by lightning, so I could use this event as a hook and begin by describing it with some short but efficient imagery, which would also give a feel for the book's style and tone. A hook could also be an interesting contradiction. Let's say there's a really bit of unexpected contrast in who your character is or your plot set up, two elements that we've never seen together, or if thematically your book has a thread that has some interesting contradiction or irony, this could also make a really interesting hook. If you're writing something speculative, the world could also be a good place to start. If you have a really interesting world detail, you could start by posing that as a sort of what-if question. And finally, one that really should exist in any story would be the conflict, goal, and motivation. Pretty much every single story has conflict, goals, and motivations because this is what makes up a story. It's the root of the story. It's really what is most interesting. So even if you don't really have anything high concept or strange in your book, if you can express the conflict or the character's goal in a really interesting way, it can make a great hook. If you don't really know how to express the hook in an interesting way, get as specific as possible. Specificity in itself is really interesting. So if you want to write a hook that focuses on the world, get as specific as possible. Instead of just being vague and explaining that there is a strange world that's underwater, get as specific as possible. Maybe in this weird world, people live in giant clamshells. I don't know why that's the example that I thought of. Number 2 is imagery. You can also use your prose skills to express your hook. If you start by really briefly describing a scene with maybe just one sentence of strong but efficient imagery, it can show the intrigue of the situation while also displaying your writing abilities. If you're looking for inspiration on how to phrase your hook, look at how books are marketed. Look at the taglines on a book's cover or dust jacket. These are often phrased in very punchy, suspenseful ways, since they serve the same purpose as a query letter hook, which is to make someone want to read your book. Even looking at an author's social media can help, since authors usually find a way of expressing their book's concept in a really punchy way in order to promote it on social media. There are endless ways to format a hook in terms of sentence structure, but you can get lots of ideas by looking at how it's done through actual book marketing. So that's how to write a hook to complement your query letter or even stand in as a sort of elevator pitch. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to subscribe for new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Until next time.